Hi again, Mrs. Fells here. Enjoying this beautiful sunny day, even though there is snow. And I'm here for our next edition of The Wild Robots. I hope you've been following along. I do put which chapters I'm reading each day on the YouTube so that you can make sure that you're following in order, because the story will just be better that way, right? So let's go ahead and start. Today, we are starting on chapter 64, and it's called The Special Robot. After Bright Bill told the story of his winter, he and his mother sat in silence and thought. They thought about poor Longneck and the human who had killed him. They thought about farms and cities and factories. They thought about Roz and where she truly belonged. Then, after a while, Roz told Bright Bill her own winter story. She spoke of her long, dark hibernation and how she had awoken to find the nest caved in around her. She spoke of blizzards and frozen animals. She spoke of the many lodges she had built and the one that caught fire. But she mostly spoke of all the new friendships that she had made. I used to think that you were the only animal who would ever care about me, she would say to her son. I worried that without you around, I would be all alone again. But I was not alone. In fact, I made new friends all on my own. I think the other animals might actually like me. Of course they like you, Ma, squawked the goose. You're the most likable robot I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot. It was true. Bright Bill had seen hundreds of different robots that winter, and none of them were anything like Roz. None of them had learned how to speak with animals, or had saved an island from the cold, or had adopted a gosling. As he sat there watching the robot's animal gestures and listening to her animal sounds, Bright Bill realized just how special his mother really was. Moving on to chapter 65, The Invitation. Roz was the first to arrive at the next dawn truce. She had an important announcement to make. The robot patiently waited in the great meadow as the sky slowly brightened and the animals slowly gathered. And once everyone was milling around and chatting, Roz began speaking in her perkiest voice. Pardon the interruption. If I could please have a moment of your time. The crowd settled down and listened to their robot friend. We made it through a terrible winter. A new generation of youngsters is arriving, and my son, Bright Bill, has just returned to the island with his flock. I think we can all agree that there is much to celebrate. So in addition to the dawn truce this morning, I would like us to have another truce this evening. We can call it the evening truce, or better yet, the party truce. The crowd began chattering with excitement. I have a planned celebration, Roz continued, and you are all invited. I will take care of everything. Just please meet back here at dusk. Oh, and I have a little surprise. Actually, it is not little. It is quite large. The point is, I have planned a celebration, and I hope to see you all there. Sounds great, Roz, but I'm afraid there's one problem with your plan. Mr. Beaver blinked his beady eyes. The moon won't be out this evening, so it'll be too dark, and for some of us to even see. You are half correct, said Roz. Tonight will be moonless, but it will not be dark. I promise. Now, if you will excuse me, I must prepare for our party. I will see everyone back here at dusk. Goodbye. And that is the end of our chapter. What kind of a surprise do you think Roz is planning? And I wonder, what did she mean when she said, "You're half right, it will not be dark"? That makes me think that somehow she's going to have some kind of light. So what kind of light do you think Roz would be able to have at their celebration party? We'll have to keep reading. We'll go on to chapter 66, which is called The Celebration. Dawn turned to day, day turned to dusk, and just as Roz had asked, animals were gathering around in the great meadow. Word had spread across the island that the robot was throwing a party, and everyone wanted to see what the fuss was all about. The fuss seemed to be a giant stack of wood. Roz had spent the day collecting logs and branches and stacking them in a perfect massive tower. The animals crowded around it, trying to imagine its purpose. And then they saw a golden light flickering in the distance. Flickering, I think that was one of our vocabulary words, wasn't it? Usually it's from a candle, the light kind of sparks in and out. I wonder if that's what she could mean with her great light. Roz emerged from the dark forest. In her hand was a flaming stick, which she held up like a torch. She was camouflaged in thick mud and clusters of wildflowers. But her camouflage wasn't for hiding. It was her party dress. The animals watched as the robot glided across the meadow, surrounded by a warm glow. "Thank you all for being here," she said as she joined the crowd. "1 year ago, I awoke on the shore of this island. I was just a machine. I functioned. But you, my friends and my family, you have taught me how to live, and so I thank you." "No, thank you, Roz," shouted a voice. "You have also taught me to be wild," said the robot. "So let us all celebrate life and wildness together." What a party, At those words, Roz heaved her torch high into the air. It soared up, 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 and landed at the very top of the wooden tower. A ball of fire burst toward the night sky, and suddenly the meadow was bathed in firelight. Hundreds of shining eyes watched as bright flames crept down the sides of the tower and embers floated away on the breeze. The animals stepped toward the bonfire, eager to feel its warmth, and then they stepped back, afraid of feeling it too much. And soon everyone was moving. The snakes slithered, the insects buzzed, and the fish jumped up from the river. Brightbill led all the birds into the air, where they wheeled around the bonfire like a tornado of feathers. Roz sprang into the wild dance, her shaggy dress shaking and swooshing with each movement. It was a wild party, and it took our robot to make it all happen. Roz and the animals partied all night long. They were so busy singing and laughing and dancing that they didn't see the cargo ship. As it passed the island, it saw the robot, and then it quietly continued through the darkness. Dun, dun, dun. What do you think they meant by a cargo ship? That Roz did not see the cargo ship, but they saw the robot. Here's a picture from their great fire that Roz made. That's going to give us some thinking to do. If I'm thinking about the story, I remember that Roz was on a cargo ship before she crashed into the island. And so now there's another cargo ship passing by that sees Roz. What are your predictions? Could that be foreshadowing? Tune in tomorrow when I continue reading. Have a great day, third graders.